Hello, hello. It is another night owl chat. Come on in and just chat away with everyone. Whoops. Whoops. I have to turn that off. I didn't know it was on. The TV. So come on in, say hello, let us know that you're here. I'm a total hot mess and I'm tired tonight. Look at, I forget that it's backwards. My hair is just a disaster. And I should be in bed. Anyone wants to come in, they can come in and chat. And we will just wait and see. So I guess I will just sit here and go until someone comes in. This is the first time using StreamYard, so I don't know if this is going to work right or not. It appears to be, but I'm not really sure on how the chats are going to be or anything like that. And so, hello, the best life. Just seen you on another live. Come on in and chat away. I was just saying, this is the first time that I've used StreamYard. I've used Streamlabs before, but this right here is all new to me. And just have to see if I don't screw it up. I have it playing on the TV over there also. It seems to be fine, but we'll just wait and see. Oh. I think you were just on Pafford Homestead, weren't you? Or was it the Crockers? I've watched a couple of different live streams today, so I'm not really sure which one I seen you on. Got my ponytail too tight. It's hurting my head. Loosen it up some. Oh, it has been a long day here. I had to go get hay and take care of all the animals, and the weather has been bad. And hi, Drops family. Nice to see you. Come on in. Chat with everybody. It's just a night owl chat for all of those that cannot sleep or that just don't want to go to sleep yet. Yeah, I was just on Pafford's too, so I'm pretty sure that's the one that I just seen you on, but wasn't really for sure. What did you think about their video finally hitting 2 million views? I thought that was fantastic. I told them I would give them a little shout out. So anyone watching this or going to be watching the replay of it, if you haven't been over to um, Pafford's Homestead, go over and check them out. It's a great channel, and they may be they listen to me. I'm so tired I can't even speak right. I've been on too many lives tonight. My eyes don't want to focus right. I've looked at the screen for so long. But go on over to Pafford Homestead and check them out. If you like them, subscribe, and they may become your new favorite thing to watch. Don't know until you give it a try. Let's see. Yeah, it's been rough here with the weather. I know, we've had ice and everything here, and we're not really used to that kind of weather. um, uh, Yesterday, was it yesterday or maybe the day before? It was the day before we were supposed to get all that ice, big ice storm, and so a lot of places just told their employees, don't come in today. And then we didn't get as much as places like Lexington, Kentucky got. Drops Family Garden just shouted you out. Aw, thank you. Thank you so much. Best life. That was awesome. Yeah, I the last time I seen that video, it was coming up on 1 million views, but I hadn't checked it since then. And when they showed it hit 2 million views, I was like, yes, that is fantastic. Oh, there you are, sweet. Freehandly Made. You're here with the night owls. Coming in to chit chat. This is the first time that I'm using StreamYard. I've only used Streamlabs before, and so I don't really know how well it's going to go. I know I keep moving this um, iPad around every which way. Glad you made it in. I'm going to have to mute my mic a minute. My little just got out of bed and is playing in water in the bathroom. So go ahead and chat, and I will be right back. I thought I unmuted it, and I thought you all heard him say, I'm using the restroom. Now he's laughing and stuff, and he's getting the dogs going. Mm-hmm. Go to bed now. Go on. Get back in bed. Oh, kiss. Mwah. Night night. Mama loves you. Go.
What kind of live stream is this?
It's a YouTube live stream. Go get back in bed. You're not supposed to be up. And the Yorkies bark. And the lab. Falling in there. And the child giggling because he thinks he's getting away with something as he's sneaking the cat into his bedroom. Oh, goodness. Okay, what did I miss? Horses are just like chickens. When they see you, they know they are going to get fed. Did I miss something before that? Let's see. Yep, my ADHD autism self don't sleep at night. Well, insomnia is a definite character trait. I used to catch insomnia. Well, that's what I would say anyways. We lived in the city, and I just couldn't. I would just have like times where I just could not sleep any more than like 20 minutes, an hour at the most, all night long. And then weekend would come, and I'd be like, we've got to get away. And so we would go up north, and I would sleep so good for the first time in a week or more. And so I would tell everybody I catch insomnia. Look at my neck. What is going on with all that? Sitting all funky, making me look like I got rings all around me. Okay. Let's see. What else? I only sleep 5 hours a day. Sometimes that's all I get too. Drop family. Sounds about right. I'll be up all night feeding the wood stove. Gonna be, ooh, negative 29 tonight. Sheesh. Oh, my southern blood cannot handle that. Whew. I have no idea what the temperature is right now. I don't have my phone out here, and it's not showing on the iPad. But I know it's definitely not negative 29. Oh. Hello, Chrissy. I know that has to be you up. Paragon Ridge Ranch in the house. I wonder if I have a delay because Drops family said hi before I even seen her come on. Ah. I was telling everybody else, Chrissy, this is the first time I'm using StreamYard after coming off of um, the Pafford Homestead Live. I thought, I'm going to check that out. So I went there, and I'm usually out by now. It was all them Blue Mountains. Just kidding. I love you. You're so sweet. And you crack me up, and I love funny people. It's been a full night of lives and very interesting. Yes, that's what I was saying. I was on quite a few lives again today. I try to get on as many as I can, but so many people have them that I do have to throw some laundry in every now and then. Do some dishes, cook a little something, take care of the child. It's a law. You got to feed them at least once a week. Just kidding. Yeah. So I thought, anyways, well, I've got a little bit of time. I'm going to go and I'm going to see if I can figure this StreamYard out because I love how you can invite people on and chit chat with them. I don't particularly like to be the center of attention on stuff, and I feel like that's kind of what is going on right now. So I thought, oh, it would be great to have people get to come on the screen and just talk about anything and everything under the sun. I'm not quite sure how to do it. It gave me some kind of little link, but how I send it to people, I have no idea. Preston uses StreamYard. If you're under 1K sub, it's the best. Let's see. The Blue Mountains. Yeah, when I first heard you say something about Blue Mountains, I thought, what in the world is she talking about? I don't drink, so I had no idea. And then when you showed them, I'm like, ah, well, there you go. Let's see. I watched half of the StreamYard tutorial before and then went live on my other channel. Well, yeah, I watched one little video that showed the little buttons and then it was about time to start the live. So I guess I'll have to go back and watch some of the other videos later on. I'm the fly by the seat of my pants kind of gal. Just get an idea and jump in. I love StreamYard because you can bring your YouTube fam up on the panel with you. Makes it fun. Yes, that's what I loved about it too. And I was like, how in the world are they doing that? And then I noticed that it said StreamYard up at the top. And I was like, that is so cool. I've got to learn how to do that. Drops Family Garden. It was great to see you for only a moment on that other live. I listen when I do chores or cook, multitask, and oops, I don't know where it went. Oh, there it is. Um, multitasking. Sometimes I have to pick and choose who I'm going to view. So many to watch. Yes, a lot of times I will have them playing as I'm doing stuff, but then I have a little also, and so he's just in and out and in and out, and a lot of times I'll miss what somebody says, and I'll be like, and they're cracking up laughing. I'm like, what did I miss? But yeah, I tend to pick and choose too, you know, because well, I try to show the love every which way. So I have a notebook, and I started getting so many channels that I started watching and helping with their watch time hours and stuff, playing their playlists and trying to get on their lives and everything, that it just became impossible to catch everyone's. So I try to go down the list and try to get everybody in at least once a week and playing their videos and trying to catch their lives. But sometimes it depends on the time that they stream also, and sometimes it's just not the time that I can actually do it. So then I just end up having to watch the replay of it. But I figure, well, they're still getting the watch time hours and stuff, even though I didn't get to chit chat and stuff with them and with everybody else. Yeah. Thursday it will get above freezing, but below zero would be warm right now. Yes, it would. Oh my goodness. I just could not do it. Could not do it. I lived up north for 10 years, and now I am southern born and raised. Mark is from Indiana. I'm from Kentucky. And when we got married, we moved up to Indiana, which wasn't as bad of weather, but definitely not what I was used to. And then we moved further up north, and oh, I just froze for 10 years. I'm like, they have no summer. I mean, they do, but it just seems so small that I'm like, they don't even have a summer. And, here in Kentucky, a lot of times when spring hits, it's like it jumps like you have like a week or so of spring, and then boom, it's like summer. It's like you totally skip the rest of spring. And, I remember going to high school in shorts in December, because it would be a little chilly during the morning, but then, by afternoon and stuff, it was nice and warm. So um, I am not built for cold weather, and I absolutely froze all the time. It would be like 75 degrees in our house because I would crank the furnace up. I'm like, it's stinking cold outside. I'd walk out the door and it was so cold I'd go. It literally takes your breath away. So, and it did not get as cold as it is at your place. So, I couldn't do it. Too thin blood. Let's see. Copy the link and paste it in the comments to the right of uh, StreamYard screen. I can't even talk tonight. In the comments section here. Let's try it and see. Oh, maybe that will work. We'll see. We'll see. Smoky Mountains. We love the Smoky Mountains. Our mountains have a bluish color due to all the blue spruce pine trees. Oh, And our grass is Kentucky bluegrass because it has a blue tint. Let's see, I'm totally the same from Chrissy. Please hit that like, thumbs up button. Come on, you know you want to hit that button. Yes, there you go. I don't even know where the like button is on this thing. I guess just it probably just shows it on YouTube because I don't see it here. Let's see. Oh, okay, let's see. Oh, what do I do? Oh, there it is. Add to stream.
There you go. You did it.
New at this.
Ta-da!
Learning as we
I
go. How
figured
are you, darling?
I'd help you learn it. I'm good. How are you?
Doing good, doing good.
Got my fur babies are hogging the bed. You would think these small dogs couldn't do that, but Cheweenies find a way.
Oh yes, we used to raise Yorkies, Yorkshire Terriers, many years ago, and they all snuggled in bed with us. And at one point, it was like we have no room for us anymore. We need a king size bed for all of our fur babies. But I think we had at one point like six of them in our bed with us all every which way. We were the crazy dog people, instead of the crazy cat people.
I told my
But
husband I'm gonna be the crazy dog lady when if I outlive him.
they are a lot of company. I see. Chrissy said they have four dogs, and we have three. Two of them are little Yorkies, but they're very old. That they've lost all their teeth and they don't hear good, so
Oh,
they bark at everything. And then the other one is a black lab. That well, there's one of the Yorkies barking right now. I have them in bed, but they hear something, they start yapping. But our son got a black lab for Christmas,
hmm.
and so she is a handful. So she's in the house, and he would love for her to stay in his room, but she still chews everything. So it's like, no, you won't have anything left in your room. But we do have two cats in the house too. He begged us for a kitten the year
Hmm.
before he got the dog, and she just goes wild at night, so she gets put in with the Yorkies at bedtime. And the other cat, she's older, so
Yeah.
he come out to go to the bathroom. He's being nosy, is what he was. He's supposed to be sleeping, but he came out and he thought he was being real slick, sneaking her in there with him into his room. She'll stay in there for a while and then she'll come back out. But yeah,
Our
fur
son likes
babies
to
everywhere.
our son likes to video bomb when I'm on
Mm,
whether I'm on live or I'm filming content. He likes to video bomb.
oh yeah, our little
So, but I can't
he
take a
loves the
picture
camera.
of, if we're out with family or out visiting or doing something fun outside. He won't let me take a picture of him, but he picks and chooses when he wants to be filmed or photographed. He's so funny. Our son is hilarious. The boys are out in the living room having Friday nights is slumber party night out in the living room. So
Mm.
I get to have the bedroom to myself, except for the
Uh,
dogs. It's
yeah, I did
nice.
one live stream and I had to go into the bedroom because the boys were out here eating candy and watching TV and getting loud. The boys meaning our son and my husband.
Yep,
So I
yep.
had to go in there to
My
get some kind
husband,
of quiet.
my husband, our son too. Yes, every Friday night they have their little thing. So, oh,
Yeah.
I used to put her cold feet on me. Oh, drop.
Let's see.
That's funny.
Yeah, Chrissy has a notebook too. Yeah, it is a little overwhelming to try to keep up with everyone. I would forget channels and then somebody would leave a comment under one of my videos and I was like, their channel. I haven't been there for a while. So then I started writing them down because I lose track otherwise.
It's a lot of channels. I mean, I don't. and then of course YouTube, they will only let you have
Mhm.
um, the amount of channels you're allowed to have can't go over the amount of subscribers that you have. Is from what I understand. Um, so I mean, my channel's small, and I think I have like 150 channels I'm subscribed to, and I already have a hard time keeping up with 150 channels. I can't imagine having over 200. I don't know what I'm gonna do when that happens.
I couldn't even tell you how many channels I subscribe to. It's a lot. It's a lot.
Oh my
But
gosh, I
I've
don't know
had
how
my
you.
channel for like 8 years, and so there's just 8 years of subscribing to different channels and stuff like that. But um, a lot of the a lot of the people on my channel, they don't even watch my channel anymore. They're subscribed, but it was from many years ago when I
Hmm.
first started a channel, and just different things happen. I think at first what happened was I was uploading videos, but YouTube, if you were new, they would not recommend you at all. I mean, it was just really hard to get subscribers, and it like took forever just to get 20 something subscribers. And I'm like, okay, forget this. you know
Yeah.
and then after that we started putting videos up again, and our um, that we put so many up, and then different life things happened, and then our son was born, and we were walking zombies for the first 6 months because that child would not sleep more than 20 minutes at a time. And the
Yes.
pediatrician kept saying, "Oh, just give it time. About 4 months and he'll be sleeping good." 4 months came and went, and I told her, "You lied to me. That child does not sleep."
You lied to me.
But then, I mean, when he finally did start sleeping, it was right around 6 months, and he
Hmm.
would sleep like 10, 11 hours at a time. It's like
Hmm.
he's making up for it now. But we were walking zombies, and still had all the animals and farm chores and stuff to do. So something had to give. We also had a store that we ran, and
Hmm.
just trying to keep up with all the ordering and everything else under the sun. It was just way too much. And walking around, it was like I felt like I was half brain dead because of lack of sleep and trying to get everything done. So something has to
Yep.
go. I cannot keep going like this. And since YouTube was the lesser of them,
Hmm.
then I chose it. I just stopped making videos, and that's when I lost my monetization. And so we've been working at getting it back. And so then, after things settled down and everything, we closed our store down, and this and that. And so everything started coming back down again. And of course, he's been aging and stuff. So we started posting videos again. And then YouTube changed the rule about kids being in videos.
Hmm.
And so from there, then I wasn't sure. Everybody was saying, "Oh, you can't put videos of your kids on anymore or anything." And so I just went through, and all the videos that we had pretty much had him in them because he was little. You had to tote him around everywhere and stuff. And then as he was getting to where he was walking and this and that. And so I just deleted all of them from YouTube. So then it's like I just had a small amount of videos left. And everybody's like, "You've been on YouTube this long, and that's all the amount of videos that you have posted?" It's like, no, I had a ton of them, but I didn't want to get fined by YouTube because it was really unclear at the time,
Hmm.
what the rules were actually going to be. And so I had them, stored already away, so they're not like permanently deleted. They're just not on YouTube anymore.
Yeah.
And phew, I tell you though, it's something else.
Yeah. It's what
But you have to
mine does
make
that.
time, and now that he's older and stuff, then he wants to be on camera a lot, but I try to limit it because he's still just real young, and just trying to be cautious a little. And
Yes. You need to be cautious.
Hello, Drops family.
Done.
Hello.
Welcome in.
Sometimes you just got to be cautious about videos because I had a different channel and they gave me 2 strikes within 1 week. So, just saying.
Oh,
Yeah, you gotta be careful.
Yeah,
Oh.
it's
For
not
the
a.
most part, our son, he's doing Shed Wars with me, so he'll be in a couple of those with the things that he's going to be growing. But that's
Mm-hmm.
we try to keep it limited as much as possible.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
'Cause,
and
he's
I like
8.
Johnny's concept of Shed Wars. I think it's a great idea. It really is. I mean,
I've never gardened before, y'all, so you guys will get to see if I can keep plants alive. It should be interesting.
I've been dropping seeds in the ground since I was 5, and I'm already over 50. So, believe it or not, but mid 50s. My daughter calls me a boomer. So I'm in trouble already, and then she knocks on the door and says, and I go, come in. She walks in, she takes my snacks. I said, what are taking all my candy bars for? And she punches me and leaves. It's like,
It's a candy thief.
wars.
Grab the candy and run.
Or looking at the crackers in the back, because, this is like one of my prepper shelves. So I'm actually a prepper, but I'm also a gardener. And I think myself as a homesteader, but I only got an acre and a half. So last year I
Homesteads
grew
come in
enough
all
stuff.
different sizes.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
Good morning, Spanish Homestead. Welcome in.
He's been here for a while.
Oh, well,
Or he.
I was chatting, running my mouth instead of looking at the chats.
It's easy to do.
Gardening is amazing. You just need to know your soil microbes. Okay, I don't know what a microbe is, and temps. My father-in-law is supposed to be helping me when we're ready to get things planted in the ground, and he's supposed to be helping me get my start. Apparently, we have good soil here, and
Yes,
we have a ton of cow pies. So I've already heard about manure tea.
Mm-hmm.
And using the cow pies for fertilizer. And so I have a lot to learn.
what grow zone you're in? What grow zone
Mhm.
are you in?
I am 5B.
Oh, well,
Very
that's
nice.
even worse than me. I'm 6B. So you're going to get a
Yeah,
I'm
later
6B
start.
also.
very late
Yeah.
start. Thankfully, I found 2 communities on Facebook in our area, Bitterroot Valley area, and I've gotten a lot of insight on when to even start my seedlings, whether it be in the house or the heated shed.
You're
All
going
of
to
them
need to start them.
telling,
You're going to need to start them indoors for a lot of the plants that have
yeah,
120-day maturity.
they're telling me not to start them indoors until with certain plants very late March, but most of them not even until April. So
Yeah, because you're probably not going to be able to plant them out until like the middle of June.
yeah, about a lot of them start planting about the second week of June is when they usually start getting them outside and planting them. So it's a very short growing season. So
2.5 months probably, or 3 at the most.
like real short.
Yeah. You're talking 60 to maybe 90 days if you're looking at a 5B zone. If you're looking at a 6B zone, you got maybe 100 to 120 days. If you're in a 7 or 8, you got a lot more days. You got 150 to, how many days to grow. So, yeah, it is very short. So you need to start your starts for your plants that have a long-term growing season indoors, and that is part of it. Yes.
I'm trying to read the comments as I'm listening to you.
I'm looking
Yeah,
into.
I start our pepper plants inside in February, and we're in 6B. And
You're in 6B you're Kentucky, right?
Kentucky, yeah, in Kentucky, and
West, east, or north and south of it, middle of it, somewhere around there. You don't need to say city. I know Kentucky completely. I've been all over the country, so I know.
yeah, we're almost at the Tennessee line.
Okay, so that's probably right
We're
there.
southeast. I think southeast. I think is what they call it.
Yeah. Okay.
Um,
So
but yeah, we're like 90 miles from Knoxville, Tennessee, one
yeah.
way, and we're less than that to oh, let's see, right across the Tennessee line at Middlesboro, Kentucky.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
You can
we're
get
close
those
to Knoxville.
early April, May
Mhm.
frost over that
Mhm.
area. I know
Yeah,
that area.
usually our frost is done by May 9th, but
Yeah.
last year we just had an awful time. It just kept frosting and kept frosting. It's like, come
Mhm.
on. And we didn't actually get to plant our stuff in the garden until like the first week of June. And that's the first time I'd ever had that happen around here.
Well, it
Usually you're
happened here
supposed to
for me
plant them in a
too.
little before May 9th, but not last year.
It happened for me too here because May looked really great, and I was like, "Oh my God, my plants are doing great," and everything else like that. And just before June, the last week of May, boom, got
Mm-hmm.
frost. I lost all my pepper plants, all my tomato plants, and everything else. But luckily,
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
I grew backup starts, so I could just throw them right in the ground.
Oh,
That's what
that
you got
was
to do.
smart.
I always plant way more than I ever need. Like, I think it was last year I was posting on Facebook asking if anybody needed some banana peppers. I think after I planted the ones that I was going to plant, I still had like 50 or 60 more plants. I'm horrible at it. I just keep planting and keep planting. And
This
then
was
once
the
I keep starting
first.
seeds.
This was the first year for ghost peppers that I was going to grow, and they were
Wow.
growing great indoors, and they were perfect and everything. I put them out there, and we had a unusual wet season, and we got the slug apocalypse, and those things ate my ghost peppers. I was like, no, it's like it was terrible. I was like, ugh, no ghost peppers this year.
Paragon Ranch is in 7A zone. Yeah, I started some. Oh, who was it? Nancy and Hollis, I think it is. I don't know if y'all watch them or not, but she had planted some uh, five color Chinese hot peppers or something like that. And they were really awesome. They were all kinds of different colors, like a purple and red and yellow. And I mean, it was just amazing. So I went on and ordered seeds, and I had like, I think 20 seeds is all that I could get of it. And I planted them and started them in the house, and they were looking so great, and I was so excited about it. And so I thought that the weather was going to straighten up and everything. So I took them out to the greenhouse, and boom, a frost, like a few days later, killed every one of them.
Yeah, I know. It's discouraging, but you have to expect
Mm-hmm.
that in a 6 speed zone. You really do.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I'm going to try growing some jicamas this year. The Mexican potatoes. They're more like a yam.
Huh. Ooh, I love yams. I'd
I
probably
know.
like those then. That's a staple in our house.
Well,
Ooh.
it's more of a
We eat them
alternative
all year
to.
long.
It's more of an alternative to potatoes for people that can't really eat a lot of potatoes.
Uh-huh.
Um, and so I'm gonna try those and see how delicious those are because I've heard a lot of stuff about that from Sonny's place. You know her channel, right?
Yep.
Yeah,
She,
I follow Sunny's place. Yeah.
yeah, she loves those. So I'm gonna give them a try this year and try them out, see if I like them because I really like yams too. So I'll give it a try.
The
Spanish
beef.
homestead. Um, we can still grow tomatoes in November if we have them in the greenhouse. But that's about it for here for us. Then the tomatoes are
Actually,
gone for the year.
I grow tomatoes, cherry tomatoes indoors during the wintertime, along with gourmet lettuce like ruby red, butter crunch, and
Mm-hmm.
romaine lettuce varieties. And I also can grow carrots and onions, bunching onions, and
Mm-hmm.
they grow well because they're self-pollinating.
Right.
So are strawberries and tomato plants. Most tomato plants and peppers are self-pollinating, so you can grow them indoors.
I have strawberries when we moved here in June because this property has been unattended for 4 years before we moved up here from Florida. And when we moved here, we had strawberries growing wild in that garden that's in the video. So I need to figure out how to transplant those and get them back in their in some kind of order. And then we have raspberry bushes and blueberry bushes that were growing all by themselves, that I need to prune and get under control because they're kind of crazy. And if you see my video on the garden that we've inherited, it's all like Fort Knox because we have black bears. And so, some people worry about smaller critters. We're worrying about the big critters, and they love berries.
Mhm.
And we had blueberries ready to pick close to, I would say, towards the end of October still. And that's when the black bears start coming out of the mountains and hitting all of our little properties because they're looking for berries. They had a black bear that went into town in Hamilton, and of course they had to shoot it with the dart, put it to sleep so they could relocate it. But that's what the bear was looking for. It was looking for berries. They usually feast on huckleberries up in the mountains, but when those stop growing, they start coming down into our homesteads down here to get their food before they go into hibernation. So
Mhm.
Right.
Have
So
you,
have you ever looked? Sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead.
The Macs. You ever looked at the Macs? They live over in Mississippi. They put up portable electric fences.
Mhm.
You might want to look into that. A little
yes,
shock to the
that's
bear.
great.
Yeah.
okay, we definitely have wire fencing already put up, and I'm sure that's just something we can add. So I'll definitely have to get my husband to look into that.
Well,
You
you
might
just
want
buy
to
the
look
whole unit
into
with the fence.
angel
Oh, it all
trumpet
comes from one.
vines.
Huh?
Yeah.
Angel trumpet vines. They look at. I keep looking at this thing and it's backwards, and I keep reaching for the wrong side. My hair's going everywhere. I'm a hot mess.
Yeah,
I
you
need to
have
go
to
back
go
to
the
that. I
opposite
need to
way.
go
I'm
fix it.
pointing to her, but I'm actually pointing to the right. So you see her,
I'm
right?
just making it worse. Anyways, angel trumpet vines, they deer do not like it, and they will stay away from your garden if you plant them around your garden. And
Okay.
they're beautiful too. They don't need any supports. I thought that they did, so I planted them by a trellis, but apparently they don't. And they're beautiful. And if you have deer problem, they will keep the deer away. The
Oh,
deer will
we've
not
got a
come
ton
around your
of
garden with
deer.
it.
We've
So
got a
it
ton of
might.
deer, but my mother-in-law, before she passed away, she liked putting plants on the perimeter of the garden that deer particularly like to eat, because she
Mhm.
liked seeing the deer come in the garden. So I've got
Mhm.
deer-friendly plants growing all the way around all
Ah,
four sides of the garden.
yeah, yeah. Well,
Um,
our deer, they come down from the mountain every night and they go to our pond and they get them some
mhm.
water and everything, and then they work their way on down. And the only thing that we've ever had them get into the garden with is the sunflowers. They would eat the young sunflowers that were coming up, but they never actually got in the garden and ate anything else, which they could have cleared the fence. It's just a garden fence. Um, but then I learned, that if you put angel trumpets around, like on the four
Mhm.
corners of your garden, then they will not come in your garden. It's something about the smell. I mean, they smell beautiful, absolutely beautiful. I mean,
I'll
the wind
probably want
blows
to
and you're like, oh my goodness, that smells so
I'll probably want to do
fantastic.
that to the garden that's not fenced in at all. The one that we
Mm-hmm.
have, it's really super 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 high. The only way they can get in there is if, like I did when we first moved here, because I really didn't know what I was doing. I accidentally left the garden door open, but we weren't tending to the garden at that time. So they kind of cleaned up the garden a little bit for me by getting in there and going to town and having a field day with all the
Did you see?
vegetation.
Did you
You
see
got two
Beth's wife?
choices with
I've got
deer.
a
You can
picture
eat.
of it actually of this deer in the middle of the garden just going to town.
I know I
It
had
was
one with
a
two
planter too
hoofs
small.
in there eating
Yeah,
on the broccoli. You know, I'm
And you know,
serious.
they're like supermodels when because they know you're there, and they'll look at you and pose for the camera. Like these deers are, oh my gosh, they crack me up, as if I'm invading their space, right?
Oh, I
Because
know, I know, I know. I told one to shoo off, and it went about 50 feet away in the dark, and turned around, and looked at me, and said, "I got night vision. I can see you just fine because I could see pretty good in the dark. You know, always have been able to." And then I said, "Tsk," and it ran away. But you know, you got two things to do. Those angel trumpets are pretty nice, by the way. They're about 6 to 7 feet tall when they grow higher.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They're really nice plants. You can either get a deer fence. You can get the poly net with the deer fence. And what my neighbor does next door, he actually puts some poles, those metal stakes in the ground. Then he puts PVC over top of it to make it even taller. And then he puts the deer fencing up around it. Or you can plant a bunch of those. So it's up to you. But
Yeah. I'm not sure what we're gonna do for that one area that's unprotected right now. It has a lot of it's got a couple of raspberry bushes that are still good, but most of them are no good. They've died, and it's over by the workshop. So I think it's just really going to depend. I don't know what we're going to do with that garden bed yet. I want a little sunflower garden bed because I'm obsessed with sunflowers, but I don't want the deer to eat them.
well, they didn't touch my black seed oil sunflowers, by the way, this year. I just forgot to harvest them, and then half of them fell over there in the chicken coop cage. The chickens were happy as hell. So but I only got half the seeds out of it this year, and some were so small because it started so late that I fed them to the chickens anyway. So it's like, but I do
Well,
intend to grow more of those.
sunflowers are a rarity where I'm at, except for the the local flower shops that sell them for the market, because we have a lot of very wealthy people that live here that like to have sunflowers in their windows as decoration. So that's what they grow them for.
That's actually a good opportunity, because have you checked and see if they're in the microgreens?
They are very much into microgreens here.
Okay, you can make yourself a very large business, and the black seed oil sunflower seeds. You can grow those in trays by 10 by 20s, and you can start going with your stores out. Your places there where you buy that stuff. The restaurants, if they're still open. Now that's a major crop for making money. Microgreens are not a joke. Peas and sunflowers and most things, and I've done some stuff on microgreens videos and how to grow them. And so, if I lived in an area, over here in Spokane, I live west of Spokane, and
I know where Spokane is.
Yes.
Yeah, I used to live there.
The restaurants suck, you know that. And I'm sure I can't grow microgreens and sell them here, because you know how it is. You got KFC, generic, Wacko Bell, and
modified
Mickey D's, and I'm not going to say the G word. We need to keep that off of here, just for the channel's sake, right?
We call it McNasty's.
McNasty's.
Yeah. Beyond meat. You don't even want it. But
goodness.
but in your area, if you got that high clientele and stuff like that, they're going to be looking at the microgreens. You might want to look at that as a business model.
Right.
Yeah, they're really huge on organic growing here and microgreens, and yeah, it's that's what you find in our little market during the growing season, is that kind of stuff. So,
right. And I'm all organic anyway to begin with. Not certified, but everything I grow is heirloom and organic. So I don't use any pesticides. So the worst I'll use is DE, Dalmatis Earth, and some neem oil. That's it.
Right.
I'm not going to use any of the other stuff in my food, and I'm not going to put it into my soil. Yeah.
That's what
I don't want chemicals in my food either. Mm-hmm. So, and we're definitely going to grow what we plan to eat. Our diet is so limited due to us, my son and I being autistic, and my husband, getting him to eat any kind of vegetable is like a miracle. So I'm pretty much going to grow what we mainly eat, and that's peas, green beans. We like Yukon potatoes, sweet potatoes, and then of course my son loves pumpkins because he likes to carve them. And then I tried to save what I can and I make pumpkin pie and stuff. Like pumpkin soup is huge in our house as well during the fall. So
What about butternut squash soup?
I love butternut squash, but they do not.
Put some pumpkin in it. They'll never know.
Right. That's what I
So
started saying.
a lot of times I have to sneak stuff in. Like I'll make muffins out of zucchini, things like that, because I have to sneak it in.
My daughter hates onions, okay? But everything I cook has onions in it, and she still eats it all anyway. She doesn't know, so
Right.
I think it's
My
just the
son
smell.
says that he
Yeah,
doesn't like
probably.
butter. And I'm like, butter makes everything better. And
It
he's like, I don't
does.
want butter, but everything that he eats when we cook it, it has butter in it, mashed potatoes and everything like that, and roasted potatoes and stuff.
If you're a
And
French
so he
cook,
says, is there butter in that?
everything.
Nope.
If you're
No
a
butter
French
in
cook,
it.
you butter everything. Is that what you said?
Yeah. The French cooking is so famous. You know why it's so famous?
Because
Butter.
it's good.
Butter and everything.
Right.
Butters and everything.
Butter makes
Yeah.
everything better.
If you're looking at my recipes, there's some butter in
It's
every one of them.
Microgreens Market here. But it's
I want to
not there.
grow Brussels sprouts because I love Brussels sprouts. I can literally eat them right off the stem after washing them. I'm one of those, I can eat them raw, like literally raw.
In your zone, it probably is very easy for you to grow microgreens. I mean, Brussels sprouts, because you're in a 5A zone. I'm in a 6A zone. I get about 1 or 2 weeks of spring, and then boom, it's like summertime around here. Just total heat and desert, and it just bolts. But in your situation, how's your springtime? Is it 1, 2 or 4 weeks, or what? How long is it?
It's pretty long because, well, okay, for me it is because my first summer here I came here from Florida. So everybody, all the locals were sweating to death at like 75, 80-degree weather. And I'm like, this is spring weather. What are y'all's problem? This is like, I've got a little sweatshirt jacket on. It's not hot. So
I just checked with Santa, and the reason why you haven't got all your Christmas gifts in the last 6 years is because you live in a colder climate, and Santa wants to stay in Florida. So just checking.
Yeah, we lived in the Panhandle, so it'll be interesting to see how different summer feels for me here than my first year here. Now that I've been rudely introduced to 2 feet of snow and temperatures that are in single digits.
I do not miss
I
it.
have been hibernating for the last 2 weeks up in this cabin.
I hear you, but Brussels sprouts, if you have a longer spring and cooler weather, you have time to get more Brussels sprouts out of them. Otherwise, it gets hot too quick, like around here. They just bolt and they start seeding out. I mean, I have Brussels sprouts sitting out back, and they are still growing in the middle of the cold. It's 10 degrees. They're still around. They're the most hardy plant in the world. And if you really need to, you can chop them up. You can feed them up. You can feed them to chickens if you need to.
Now, I can get my husband to eat them if I wrap them in bacon.
Oh, well, yeah, bacon is like butter.
Actually, try marinating them in Italian dressing first, okay?
Oh, I haven't tried Italian. Now, I've done olive oil, but not Italian dressing.
Italian dressing, marinate them for a couple of days in the fridge, and then cook yourself some bacon almost to the crispy point. Mix that in, and I guarantee you'll eat every one of them.
The best life. We don't have a microgreen market around us either.
Man, we have a huge
I grow my own.
What's in the store, or
you know what I'll do? When the markets open back up in town, I will definitely do a video because it is crazy. I have never seen so much healthy, homegrown food in my life until I moved here. It is, the market is a treat. Like, I felt like I was in Disneyland because I was, when I lived in Florida, I could get organic, but man, I paid out the butt for it. But
Yeah.
here, psh,
Well, that's why
That's
here
kind
it's
of
just
funny.
it's just a
such
way
a
of
big
life here.
garden. It's because to buy it organically, you still weren't sure if it was actually completely organic or not. And I mean, it may have been grown organically, but you didn't know if it was harvested organically or not,
Right.
and so on and so forth. And so I would look at the prices of it in the store, and I'm like, for lettuce, or for this, or for that,
Yeah,
and I'm
I
like,
actually
I can
grew
grow
everything
my own
organically
so much
here in
cheaper.
my house. Everything organically in my house um, during the wintertime, and then I grow it outside. The leaf lettuce that I use, the gourmet lettuce, like the
Mhm.
buttercrunch, the ruby reds, and it's also called crimson or whatever, something like that.
Yeah.
And romaine lettuces. I'll grow spicy mixed greens, mesclun greens, all that
Mhm.
stuff indoors. And if I want a carrot, I just cover biomass during the wintertime because I grow 3 different succession plantings of carrots. And then I can just go out and pull whichever bed I want to. I can pull one out whenever it's a convenient time, just pull right out of the soil.
Mhm.
It's like a natural root cellar. So,
Yeah.
Now, the shed I have in the back, it's actually insulated. It has a ceiling fan. It has electricity. It has a base heater, just like our cabin does. It's got the side facing the cabin is all windows, and then there's windows on the side towards the other pasture. Um, and there's just shelves all along those windows. And my husband, once we get our pellet stove, my husband said I could grow in there during the winter next year because our electric bill will be a little bit more under control. So I should be able to grow during the winter time in that shed because I'll be able to keep it at a certain temperature.
how's the wind around there?
How's the what?
The
The
wind.
wind? Luckily, we are on the good side of the mountain where we are not in. There's a ton of canyons here, so and we are not facing any of the canyons, so we're well insulated where I'm at.
Do you have a strain that runs all year long?
Oh yes, and we
Okay,
have a
great,
flooding irrigation system.
great.
Which,
If it runs all year long, you can do a hydro generator. You can actually power that whole unit and maybe your house off of the whole thing, get off the grid.
you mean by like a water pump?
No, I mean like if you have running water all year long on a fast moving stream,
Uh huh.
then you can actually use the hydro generator just like a windmill, but it goes in the water.
Oh,
You could
okay.
actually probably generate enough power to power your entire house for the entire
And get off the
year.
grid.
Get off the grid.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
I was just talking to my husband about going solar. But yeah, because we have that waterfall really close to our cabin, and
Yeah.
that's where a lot of our
Going
grow.
solar would probably not make any sense to you, especially during the winter months.
Yeah.
Hydro generator would probably be the best thing. And you can look at Missouri Wind and Solar about that, about buying
Okay.
some of them. Um, that's what I've been looking for. Actually, is a property that has fast moving water, so I could use the hydropower to actually generate
Mhm.
power instead of using solar. Because during the wintertime, up in your area, 5A, you're probably going to have a very minimal type of generation power by solar. You're going to waste a lot of money getting it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I bought the
Well, I
stuff
know.
to make a Pelton wheel to do that, and at our place, and I've just not put it together yet. I got all the stuff to do it except for the magnets that goes into the alternator, and just haven't got the magnets to do it yet. So it's still sitting in there. Of course, we have solar panels still in a box too. So
Yeah,
procrastination.
yeah. I do a
But
lot of
yeah,
stuff with
if you just
solar
got
and wind. I do
a
a lot of stuff
place
with
where the
solar and wind.
water runs, then yeah, that hydro system would be great. It would run everything or most of everything, depending
We'll
on
have to look
how
into
frugal
that.
you are or not.
Yeah, I do a lot of stuff with solar and wind, and actually crank out about 2-3 kilowatts, uh, an hour per day. Uh, now that's not with just the solar, that's combined. But with the wind, I get anywhere from 10 to 40-mile-an-hour winds around here all the time. So that's why I want wind turbines. But even at that, the wind turbines don't really produce as much as they should.
No.
But the solar would. But it doesn't matter where you are in the world. You're only going to get 5 to 7 hours worth of viable solar power out of those panels. Okay, even on the equator.
Okay.
So in your case, where you have fast run stream and a waterfall that's always running, hydropower is the way to go.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and you can actually make your own set pretty cheap compared to buying one, and it's pretty easy. There's all
You
kinds of
can.
videos out there that shows it, how to do
You
it and
can.
stuff.
But if you have no experience in electricity, electrical engineering, or
Well,
as
my
an
husband used to
electrician,
be an electrician, and he went to school for all that.
then he
So,
probably would be okay with this.
Yeah, there you go.
he might be able to handle it.
I'm
I'll,
just saying that people who have no experience with anything electrical would be kind of challenging for them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Luckily, he went to school for all that, and that's what he did before he became a trucker. So,
Yeah, I went to school for electrical engineering too. So just to let you know.
yeah.
So,
I didn't. My
So-
schooling was buy an old cabin, have to redo it all, and figure it out as you go, and hope you didn't shock yourself to death.
you know what? You can be as book smart as you want, but with the experience, makes all the difference in the world. You can figure it out. You don't have to. You don't have to go to school. I mean, Abraham Lincoln proved that one, right?
That's true.
Right.
That is true.
There's
Yep.
a lot of very smart people that has nothing more than an 8th grade education. A lot of
That's
very
true.
smart people.
It's very true. You never should
And
discount
a
anybody
lot
because they don't have a
of
college degree.
yeah,
Never.
a lot of college degree, bachelor's degree, and stuff. People who have no common sense at all, who
That's
struggle
They're
with
idiots.
everything except book smart stuff.
A quarter of all the CEOs of the major corporations in the world have never finished college or never went to college. That's the truth.
Yeah.
That does not surprise me.
I'm
No, you-
hoping that our son does not want to go to college. I hope that he picks a good trade that, he can run his own business with and make his own hours and everything like that. Of course, he's 6, so he changes his mind on what he wants to be every 10 minutes.
I'm hoping my daughter will
But,
actually use her God-given talents in graphic design and drawing and painting and stuff like that to make a career of it and somehow, because I don't see college as a viable option anymore. Because when I went to college in the 80s, I'm telling you, it's not the way it is now, and I just think it's a waste of money.
Right.
I really
It's
do.
Spent
expensive.
13 years paying off private college loans.
I
don't
still,
want
I,
that for my son.
I still
And
have
then my
loans that
husband
I'm
did
paying
not get
on.
into the field that he went to college for. He's never worked in the field that he went to college for. So
That's exactly my point. I mean,
Yeah.
what are they really teaching these kids? I mean, if they want a job and want to learn something, how to be a self-employed entrepreneur like me, because I've been in the field for over 20 years doing that, and most of my clients have been with me 5 years or more. Okay. But it's highly technical. I work on computers, I work on servers, I do IT and stuff like that. Graphic design, coding, everything like that. But if they really want to learn something, they should actually entrepreneurship stuff instead. These colleges teach them a bunch of junk that they can't even use in the real world. Just ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
yeah.
Unfortunately, I know all about that. I have a student loan that I'm still paying off, and I mean, I had a decent career when I lived in Florida, but
So far, 4 out of 7
there's
of my
not
kids
a whole lot of
so far chosen
stuff
to
going on
go to
here.
college and got a trade instead. Yes. Crazy.
Yeah, that's
family
Craig's whole
homestead.
family's
Yep.
Craig's family homestead. Yeah.
Oh, hey, Craig's Family Homestead.
And you know what? They saved themselves thousands upon thousands of dollars of debt right out the door by choosing
Yep.
not to go.
Yeah, it's
Hi,
just
Heritage
because
Heart Homestead.
Hey, how you doing, Heritage? Good to see you.
Hey, Heritage.
These kids come out of, they start from the cradle to the grave, debt upon debt upon debt. By the time you're about ready to die, your debt's paid off, and then they take everything anyway. The debt enslavement needs to be taken away. We need to find better ways for our children to, enter this world and make a living, make a life, and make a profession, and build wealth. And one of the things I see with a lot of the homestead and prepper in any community, actually, to tell you the truth, they don't know how to invest. They have no ideas about, silver, gold investments in stocks and bonds, and just really, really, it bothers me because you're asset rich and cash poor your whole life if you have a homestead, and it shouldn't be that way at all. You should actually manage yourself to the point where you're making money, even when you're sitting at home watching it freeze over and thinking about fixing the tractor. But
Right.
it's just the way it is. It's just the way it is.
Yeah. They don't teach
Anyway,
you that in school these days. They just don't. I
they
never learned that.
They never taught you. All they want to do is have you fall in the system to go into the debt enslavement program, and
Yes.
that's all it's ever been.
Yeah, I'm one of those people that I have to research everything under the sun. If my mind gets on a subject, then I just exhaust the topic. And
Right.
I
You
remember,
should never believe Drop or anybody else about
right,
this is
I
the true correct thing.
remember way
Tick
back, even in
like a
grade
rabbit.
school, I was thinking, most of the stuff that they're teaching us, I don't even need. It's,
Yeah.
and this and that. And I never knew why I had that attitude until later on.
Yeah, you figured it out.
And then
Yeah.
I seen, well, this is why, because most of that stuff we don't need. And then I would start researching everything, and I learned the history about how public schools came to be about, and the Rockefellers and all of that
Right.
about, setting the school system up the way that they did just to get people
Don't
off of the
go too
farms
far because they'll actually give you a little one of these, and you don't want one of those. But
yeah.
anyway, ladies, I'm gonna go ahead and drop down tonight, and I wish you all good luck, and it's great meeting both of you.
Great
Really
to meet you
It was
too.
nice chatting
In the
with
person.
you.
Yeah, well, I'm a real person. I
We
I may
usually
be
just see
old.
your name.
Yeah, well,
Make it to the face.
my name is actually starts with a D and it's 4 letters, and I can't use it on YouTube, but so that's why I use Drop. That's an abbreviation of my name and some other stuff, but it's DICK. Okay, so I can't use that on YouTube.
You'll get
It's
the
call
X.
exactly. That's why I call myself Drop instead for other
Gotcha.
reasons. But yeah, it's
Well,
really
I
my
see you
name
all
starts
over
with
the
D.
place.
Oh
On
yeah.
all kinds of different lives and stuff, and I always recognize your name right away. I'm like, yep.
Yeah, I guess it's synonymous nowadays. But I did have a Truther channel that I cut 500 videos from, because I didn't want to actually lose this channel. So, you have to make your priorities, and I think it's better off to do it this way. And I don't want to get crazed about all this other crap because it's not going to do any good to be an echo chamber. If I want to be an echo chamber, I want people to grow food and learn how to be self-sustainable. That's the echo chamber I want.
Yeah.
And so you got to be the change you want to see, right?
Yes.
So that's what I'm doing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Some people don't understand that, but that's what it is. Anyways, good night, ladies, and it's
Good
great.
night.
Both of
Good
you.
night. Thanks
Good
for
night.
coming on. But yeah, I was researching the history of how the public schools became what they are, and that basically boils down to it was just a handful of very wealthy people who owned factories and stuff, and they wanted to get more of their products out faster, but they needed people to work in their factories to do so. And they needed people to stand there all day and not take restroom breaks unless they were told they could, and all of this different stuff. And they needed to be able to write and tape measure reading and all this other stuff. And so they set the school system up like that. They said, we'll pay for it if you can get people into the schools. and have these teachers basically train them how to do what they're told.
Mm-hmm.
And so the people were leaving the farms because they were sold, go get the American dream, go out and, leave the farms, get your big house in the city and car and so many kids and all this stuff. And people, um, they grew up poor on farms and stuff. So they thought that that was a great idea. And so that's what they did. And that's where most of the baby boomers, went to big cities and stuff like that. And it was all
Mm-hmm.
set up by just a handful of wealthy people who started the school system the way that it is to get people to go out and work in their factories and stuff so that they could have more products to sell more people so that they would make more money.
Right.
And so when I learned that, I was like, see, I knew there was something wrong way back in grade school. But I've never been one to really follow, you know, what everything else, where everything else goes and stuff. I dance to my own tune, and I always have. So becoming a homesteader wasn't too big of a shock to me.
Yeah,
But
it's
I mean, we did get extended education and stuff, and like I say, my husband, he went to school in Minnesota and a private school, a private college there, and we had 13 years of paying off college loans and stuff. He never went into his field, and I only worked a few months in my field, and yeah, I mean, the college loans just were not really worth it to us, and he's made more money working just a normal job than what he would have even if he had gotten a job right
mm-hmm.
out of college and stuff. So I think it's just different people. Do you want to start your life once you leave your parents' house? Do you want to start your life in debt, or do you want to learn some kind of trade which is not going to cost you much of anything, especially if you're an apprentice? um, to learn how to do that and then decide, because most people that go to college, they spend years there before they even decide what they actually want to be anyways. And
Yeah.
it's just a lot of money racking up in the process. They're just getting deeper and deeper in debt. And if we had to do it all over again, we wouldn't do it. But I'm hoping that my son decides to do something on his own, and just not follow in suit with what people tell him. I hope that he just looks around and takes different examples from different walks of life and stuff, and then decides from there. But
That's what my husband
it's up to
did.
him.
My husband didn't do college. He went to a trade school, um, and he got his something. It's equivalent. It's a high school diploma, but it wasn't a high school diploma. It wasn't a GED. It was higher than a GED,
Mhm.
because he just didn't like school. It just wasn't for him. And when we got married, he went to trucker school because he didn't like being an electrician. He just didn't enjoy it. And he's always made more money than me. And I'm sitting here with a bachelor's degree, supervising 52 bookkeepers, and he's making more money than me. I was
Right.
barely making 40 grand a year, and I couldn't even pay my student loans. So yeah. Now
Mhm.
my youngest daughter she's at FSU. She's got, scholarships, so she's not in debt because her college is paid for because she worked hard in school and got the grades and got the
Mhm.
scholarships, academic scholarships. And she was going to be a music educator. And then when the pandemic hit and she saw how all the teachers were being treated, how the families and the students were being treated, it put a really bad taste in her mouth. She's like, nope, I'm still going to do my music on the side, but I'm not doing that. So she's getting into tourism, and she wants to travel. So that's what she's pursuing. And as far as our son, he's really young like yours. He's only 8, but he does a lot of things. He likes to build with his hands. So I'm pretty sure I don't see him going to a 4-year college, and that's fine. So
Mhm.
he will definitely find his own way. And my oldest daughter, she never did finish school. She doesn't even have her GED, but she has a job and she's making her life work and working hard. And everybody has their different path, I guess. But I'll tell you what, if I could do things over again, I wouldn't have gone the route that I went. But that's what we were raised to do. You get good grades, you go to college. I came from a military family, is what was expected,
Mm-hmm.
and so I just did what was expected. I didn't know any better. So, but I mean, I'm good with numbers, though.
Said they needed educated, skilled workers, and that's exactly right. That's what they were aiming for when they started the public school system. Is you talk about a smack in your face when you read that. You're like, what? You just totally used me and everybody before me.
Yes, drop exactly. So, but yeah, we're my husband. He grew up around this kind of lifestyle. His mom
Hi, Betty Jean.
lives in Oregon, and they have a ranch. And she's a horse whisperer, by the way. His mother. It's really cool. I never even knew that existed. So I got to learn all kinds of stuff when we went to visit her. And they did. They had a ranch. So he grew up on a ranch. And, his idea of playtime was spending the entire day with his dog in the woods. So when he brought us up here, for him, the adjustment's fine because it's business as usual. But I'm like, you married a city girl. I don't know how to do all this. So he's like, what's the big deal? I'm like, I don't know how to do all this. So like, when I went downstairs, I'm like, what's this room for? He's like, babe, that's a pantry. I'm like, what's a pantry? I had no idea what a pantry is. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna have to be more active on YouTube and start learning how to do all this stuff. And there's like all this equipment in the pantry. I don't know what half of it is. I think we have a dehydrator down there. So yeah, I'm gonna have to get down there and pull everything out and see what we got, because we inherited all this stuff when my mother-in-law passed away 4 years ago.
Oh, sorry.
We moved up here to help Dad out with the ranch because he's decided he's done with ranch life, and he went and bought a Victorian 2-story house for just him, one person living in the city or the town, and we're up here taking care of his legacy. And so I told my husband, he's like, yeah, I want to get goats. I'm like, can we just see if I can keep a plant alive first before we start adding livestock, please? Just one step at a time, please.
In some cases, it's easier to keep an animal alive than a plant.
He's not allowed to hear that.
Oh,
because I'm not ready for that. So I wouldn't mind starting off with some chickens. Let's do some chickens because we already have a built-in chicken coop in the barn. Apparently his dad had that's right, start small and build up. Exactly. He had his own cattle here at one time. He decided they were a pain in the butt and too much work. So he got rid of the cattle, and he had a couple of horses, and he had some other things too during his 40 years of living here. So yeah, we have this huge barn. And then will it grow? Or somebody was talking about people raising pigeons for meat. My husband's in there killing pigeons to keep them out of the barn. I'm thinking, we already got pigeons. We've got meat in the barn right now.
Practice on them.
I didn't know people ate pigeons.
Yes, the best life. Chickens are easier than a dog.
So yeah, I'm like, let's do some chickens. And then I don't know what his thing is with goats, but he's dying to get some goats to be on our property. So I'm like, but what do we do with goats? What are they raised for? He's like, meat, milk. I'm like, okay. So yeah, I've got a lot to learn, y'all. It's gonna be interesting. So I got to start prepping. This snowstorm threw me for a loop. We were not prepared at all. Thankfully, our neighbor had a plow, so we're going to be buying a plow, a snow plow, in the spring because they're all sold out.
Oh yeah, it's the wrong time of year to be buying a plow.
I'm like, oh my gosh.
Yeah,
this is
but
killing me.
when you're from
My husband
Florida,
thinks
then
it's
you don't
funny.
think of stuff like that.
Yeah, he thinks it's funny. Have y'all seen the movie City Slickers?
Yeah, I loved it.
That's me. That is me right now. That's my life right now, y'all. It's
Yes,
crazy.
there Heritage Heart. There is a difference between milk goats and meat goats. Yes.
Yes. I learned that from the La La farm the other day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
So he'll
we
have to.
have Nigerian dwarf. Yeah, we have registered Nigerian dwarfs, and they're just little, but we chose those because the milk is sweeter, and they can't clear fences as easy as a full size goat. So we intentionally did that um, because we didn't want to have to keep chasing down goats, and we didn't want them getting into our garden and eating our garden up. So we went with the little ones.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
There is, I always say neighbor, but way down the road. And I tried to get a video of them the other day when I was taking the ride home. But they had them, of course, they had them pinned where they'd be warm. So I couldn't get a picture of them. But I've never seen these kind of goats before. They almost look like rams. They've got the really curly horns like this, and they're brown, mostly brown, and then with black bellies. And I wasn't sure if they were sheep or if they were goats. And I want to get a good picture of them, so I could figure out what kind they are. But they're gorgeous. I've never seen whatever they are. I don't know if they're goats or sheep. I can't tell. I'd have to get a picture of them, and y'all help me identify them, because I even tried to Google a picture that
Mm-hmm.
looks closely like them to figure out.
Mm-hmm.
Still have not seen a picture over the internet that even closely resembles what this farm has on that they're raising. So Heritage says it sounds like sheep. I was thinking more like sheep too, but I have to get closer up and get a closer look. But they're gorgeous, whatever they are.
Heritage,
And I've never
can you
had
hear me
goat's
better
milk.
now? I think I was blocking my mic. Can you hear me better now?
I can hear you better. Can they hear you better?
I don't know. Oh no, that says sounds like sheep.
Yeah, I don't. Lala Farm thought
No.
Lala Farm thought it might be and they told me what kind of goat they thought it might be. They were thinking goats, but I don't know. I'll get it figured out. Every time I go by the home, they're not there. So I think they're homesteaders that have other, daytime jobs.
I want a goat, but it's so much work. I think I will start with meat goats. Oh, my
These
little goats,
definitely.
they're not.
These,
Our little
no,
goats
these
aren't a lot of work at all. I mean,
sounds a little bit
just
better.
trimming their hooves, just when they need it, and just giving them their feed. And the boy goats, of course, don't even need grain. A lot of grain is actually bad for them. And because we have Nigerian dwarfs, they don't actually eat a lot of hay. And we just move them around to paddock, and they're actually now I can't say that for everybody or the different kinds of goats, but for our little Nigerian dwarfs, they are a lot easier to deal with than a lot of the other things that we've tried here and stuff. But I would imagine that well, even the milk goats, the meat goats, you can still even milk them. It's just you're not going to get the nice sweet milk like you're going to get Nigerian dwarf milk. It tastes just like getting regular whole milk from the store.
Oh, okay.
You can't hardly tell the difference in it at all. And actually, everybody that I've had try it, they could not tell the difference. They thought that it was just regular cow's milk.
Huh. Yeah, I've
Yeah,
never had goat's milk before, so
mm-hmm. It's a
never
shaggy,
been.
long-haired sheep.
Yeah,
But
these
no,
definitely did
they
not
don't
have
have
long
long.
hair. These are short. These did not have long hair.
Um,
Okay, crazy, Craze Family Homestead. Have a good night.
Good night. Thanks for stopping in. Hubby bought
So,
orchard hay for ours today, and he said they loved it. Yeah. Yeah, that's about all you can find around here. When I lived up north, we had horses, and you would get alfalfa
we
and
can breathe in.
just really good hay. And down here, where I was born and raised, seems like everybody only has orchard grass. And it's like, oh, I miss that alfalfa. It stayed green,
Mm-hmm.
just as green could be and stuff. And down here, it just looks like dead grass, which is
I
what
have
it
no,
is.
I have no idea what we have in our pastures. I know that's horrible, but I have no clue. I have to ask my husband what we have in our pastures. I know that the cows eat it. Um, we have 30 acres that my husband has to take care of. Fencing, that's a lot of fencing. And as you can imagine, there's definitely some fencing repair that needs to be done because no one's been here for 4 years. So there's a lot of work to do. And Puppy's going to take Z with him um, and teach him how to help Dad out in the fields, which is good. It's good for him to be out, in the sun and getting some fresh air and learning how to use tools and
Uh,
grass is it's grass.
Heritage Heart, what color were they? What color were what? I
Oh,
missed
they
something
were
somewhere.
probably the goat or sheep that I was talking
Oh,
about.
the shaggy
They
long-haired
were
sheep.
they were a really beautiful, like a caramel brownish on the backs and sides, and then they were black, mostly black on the belly. And the males had literally, they remind me of ram horns because the horns were round like this.
Hmm.
So I will try very hard to either to when they're closer to the road to get a good picture of them, or if I'm lucky and they're home, I think I'm brave enough to send my husband to go knock on the door.
Brave enough to send him.
I do this to
Women
him
and
all the
children
time.
first in all cases, except for knocking on a stranger's door. The
My poor
commitment to
husband.
milking every day seems to be a lot of work. Yeah, it can be. But usually, well, what we do is we never pull our goat babies, our kids, off of the mommies completely. We don't just bottle feed them. And I know that it makes for a more friendlier kid, but um, if for whatever reason we have to go somewhere or do something and we can't be back, those goats, they fill up with milk till they look like they're going to burst, and they'll start squalling and stuff until you milk them. And so at any time we want to be able to just put them babies on them and let them nurse from their mommy. And so if we don't feel like going out and milking for the day, then we don't have to. Or if we've got too much milk in the refrigerator, then
Hmm.
we don't have to go
You
out
have
and
to
milk
worry
them.
about it.
We'll just leave them with the mamas. Yeah, and
That's a
also
good
you
idea.
can get the milking machines for just a few $100s, and it
Uh-huh.
makes very fast work of it. So that makes it a lot easier too if you don't want to sit out there and hand milk, which does take a lot more time. But yeah, with the meat goats, then you don't have to worry about it if you're just raising them for meat. We have strong grass and alfalfa. Grass is grass. That is right. Except that the alfalfa seems to have more good stuff in it longer
Hmm.
than the other stuff. The other stuff just looks dead, where the alfalfa still looks like it's got some life in it. Um, that could be a goat breed.
That's what Lala Farm was saying. Lala Farm thinks it's a certain type of goat breed.
Yeah, I think the what is it? The St. Croix, they have big horns, and there's another one that's like it, and they're they're parasite resistant a lot more than other goats are.
Mm-hmm.
The St. Croix and my
Sorry, guys, that was my
I
dog
can't
hitting the
think.
computer.
I can't think of what the other one is right now, but yeah, there's a couple of them that do have some pretty big horns on them.
Hans, I
But
have not been able to get a picture of them with my phone yet, but I promise I'm probably not going to be able to until some of this snow melts and the temperatures improve, because right now, obviously, they've got them huddled in their pen where they can stay warm. So I'm not going to be able to get anything, any kind of picture or anything until we get some improved temperatures. So it's probably going to be a couple of weeks before I
Han
can get.
Solo,
I
Wilbur,
do too. I love the Lala Farms too.
me too.
Oh my gosh, I like Magnus. They need to do some pictures with a picture of Magnus and sell merch, because that goat is such a superstar. My son, anytime I go to Lala Farms, he's like, "Is there any more goat videos of Magnus?" Yeah, so Magnus is important to this house.
I'm my
So
fingers
yeah,
crossed.
I think tomorrow I'll do a really funny video of me um, going through the pantry for the first time and seeing what all I have in there.
Oh my goodness, you should do one and say like you come across something and you don't know what it is. What the heck
Identify
is
this.
this?
What is
Okay,
this?
let
What
me
do I
know
do
what
with
I'm
it?
supposed to do with this.
I have no idea.
That
I
would be
know she used
funny.
to have a whole bunch of canning stuff, but he gave all her canning stuff away 4 years ago. But there's still a lot of stuff down there, so I got to get down there and see. And of course, it's empty, right? Because I didn't know what a pantry is. So like, I have to start. I have to start getting my pantry full.
Yeah. The
I
baby
won a
I
Lala shirt last stream. Can't wait to get it. Oh, you lucky. You won a Lala shirt. You're so
congratulations on your
lucky.
win.
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of people with them they will take the babies off so that they can have as much milk, and bottle feed the baby so that the babies are very friendly. But if you're like bottle feeding half the time, your babies are still going to be friendly. If you're like me and you give them animal crackers, the babies are going to be very friendly because they love the animal crackers. But it if you have kind of a busy lifestyle though, then just leave the babies on them, and like when your milk is running low in your refrigerator, then just put the babies up overnight, go out and milk in the morning, and then turn them back loose with their mamas. And so, yeah, it does save a lot of time, and it makes it where you don't have to worry if something comes up, whether it's an emergency or you have to travel sometime, and maybe you've got kids or somebody or a neighbor watching after your goats, just leave them in with their mommies, and then whoever's watching them doesn't have to go out and milk them or anything. Makes it a lot easier.
See,
Yeah.
Heritage has something. Oh, Drop says he's going to start doing T-shirts with an angry Smurf on it.
Oh, yeah.
See, our one goat had a lot of milk, but we
Milk
didn't.
is all the way up, and they always leave theirs clean for the kids. And so even when your friends just got it all, they got some stored up in there. And yeah, um,
Your sound is low. They can't hear you again.
I don't know why.
Oh, there we go.
Can you hear me better now?
Yeah,
Adjusting it.
that was weird.
One of our goats had a lot of milk, but we didn't use the milk, so we didn't milk her a lot. She just started milking them to get them used to the milk stand. Yes. Yeah. If you don't need the milk, then just let the babies with them. Am I still sounding low, or did it straighten up?
I can hear you a lot better.
I
Someone
think.
thought maybe you're recovering your mic.
Yeah, I keep moving it around because this is my iPad, and I don't
Oh,
have a
okay.
stand to a tripod that will fit it, and so I'm just having to hold it. And so my hands
Gotcha.
get tired, so I keep moving it around, and I think that I keep covering the mic. Oh goodness. Let me see.
Okay, so Drop apparently
Can you
has
hear me
this.
loud now?
Yeah, I can hear you. I see a beautiful tropical picture that I'm very jealous of right now.
Yeah, that's that I put that together. It's actually a photo backdrop, and I built me a little 2x2 frame, and I put it on there and put it on that wall because they
Oh
had
my
these
gosh.
stupid little built-in. So the we used to have our living room done in wildlife theme, and they were expensive pictures and stuff, and so I kept them for many years because they cost so much money. And I just got tired of looking at them and wanted something different. And one of our favorite places to go is the beach, so I put ocean pictures and stuff up. And so when I got sick and tired of seeing those stupid windows there, I mean they're fake windows looking into the computer room. It's like, why? So I thought I need something huge to cover that. And so I just thought, okay, let me look for a nice photo backdrop. And so I got it for like 20 something bucks on eBay.
Dang,
Uh,
that's
uh,
cheap.
uh, Ripped me some 2x4s to turn them into 2x2s, built a frame, stapled it around, and hung that baby up.
Good night, Heritage. Take care.
Yeah, good night, Heritage Heart Homestead. Thanks for coming.
Sweet dreams. Stay warm.
Yes. Let's see.
I'm
It
very
is
excited about getting a pellet stove because I heard that I saw some YouTube videos about how you can actually use the ashes for your garden.
Yeah, we used to have the pellet stove when we lived up north.
We have one downstairs, but because of the way the pipe is through the cabin, it doesn't get warm like it should, and so all the smoke comes into the cabin, so we can't use it.
Mm, yeah. Well, we really liked it because, well, our house it was just an old hunting cabin, and it had been built onto, and it had been vacant for many, many years.
Mm-hmm.
And so we had to totally redo the whole thing. That's where we learned how to do
Gotcha.
electrician work. Yes. Excuse me.
Yes.
And so it had an old fireplace in there, but I don't know what happened to the insert, but it got gone. And so we just stuck one of those old Stokomatic things there in
Mhm.
front of it. And man, that thing would roast you out of the house.
I've heard
And
that they will put out some heat, and that's what I'm hoping for,
mhm,
so we can
yes.
relieve our electric bill.
Hmm.
Our water gets pumped from the well, so we don't even have AC here, which I've never ever lived without central air before. And so my husband was like, I'm thinking our electricity bill is going to be cheap, right, in the summer, right? Because we don't have AC. Oh, no, no. Our electric bill was over $200 because of the pump that runs, because we have to pump our water from the well to the cabin. And I'm like, we don't even have AC. How are we having a $200 electric bill?
Hmm.
It's the pump.
Yeah,
So yeah,
yeah.
so and then you add base heaters during the winter with the pump.
Oh, sure.
You can imagine our bill, which is why I'm
Oh,
not
yeah,
allowed to use the shed right now. So I
yeah.
need the pellet stove so I can start using my shed, my
I
she
tell you,
shed.
we really liked the pellet stove. We replaced the old Stokomatic with a pellet stove because no matter what I did, if Mark was gone to work and I needed to, if he forgot to stoke it before he went to work and I needed to do it, I would smoke the entire house up every time. I just could not
Yes.
find the sweet spot. And
Yeah.
So I hated it because there was always wood chips around, and we had a ton of little Yorkies that would grab the wood chips and chew them up all over the house and stuff. So it was always a big mess. And so we got the pellet stove, and I was like, "Oh yes, just pour the bag of stuff in top and let it
Mhm.
go."
I'm
But
excited about the
no
pellet stove.
mess and all
Yeah, I'm
that. The
definitely
only
excited.
problem is that if your power goes out, then it don't work because it needs
Oh,
electricity to drop the pellets in. But if you just get a car battery and one of the little oh, what are they called? Come on, drops. Uh, what do you hook to a car battery? An inverter. It hit me. I get an inverter and hook it to a car battery, and then you can just plug it right into that when the power's out, and then it'll keep the pellet stove going
okay.
for
I
you.
know we have a generator too that my husband. We
Hmm.
thought about. When I tell you guys we were not prepared. We were not prepared. So
Hmm.
we had a generator, but we're not sure exactly what it all runs as far
Hmm.
as where we hook it up at. I'm like, I told my husband, like, we probably should have asked your dad all this information and questions before the storm hit.
Hmm.
Um, so we got lucky we didn't lose power, knock on wood, y'all, because we are not prepared at all.
Hmm.
I told my husband, like, your dad may have some roommates for a while
In a big old house.
in that big old Victorian house. He's got the room. But no, we gotta get our stuff together, you guys. So we're getting
Yeah,
there. We are getting there. Um,
Hans. I've seen them with the pumps that are just solar, and I thought that was fantastic. The water pumps that were, what are they called? A simple pump, I think it was, is what they were called, and they ran on solar. Yeah, I like impressive stuff like that. I
nice.
now have a MPP solar all-in-one unit. Ah, yeah, ours is still in a box. We've got the oh, what is it called? Midnight, the Midnight Classic charge controller, and I haven't decided on the inverter yet. I would like to
Okay.
have one of those um, magnums, but ooh, pricey.
You can get them solar pump generators for like $230. That's not bad. I've
Hmm.
got $230.
Makes all the difference in the world when the power goes out. I say nobody wants water until the water goes out, and
Yeah.
then all you want is a good cold glass of water.
Yes.
And when the power goes out, you may go to bed at 9 o'clock every night, but when the power goes out, you want to stay up all night, but you have no
Hmm.
power to do so.
Yep.
Oh, goodness.
We have so much to do. It's not even funny. I'm like you with your 50 things on your list.
And that's just the start. I mean, we haven't even started getting those done yet. And I swear, it's a never ending story. We are always adding to it. Last year, I think I couldn't even tell you actually how many things we actually got done because every time we would start getting close to the list being done, I would add more. Mark would get so frustrated.
See, do you have your list of homestead channels picked out to learn from yet? Hans, I have just started getting all these channels over the last 2 weeks. And tonight I've decided I need to find a channel that has videos how to prep for the beginner because I have no idea what I'm doing.
Oh, yeah, I had to make
Oh yeah, that's
some
fun.
notations here.
Oh, what'd I
Um,
say wrong?
no, it's cool. I'm just going to talk about the MPP solar unit all in one. You can actually chain them up to six of them. They cost about $600 a piece.
Mhm.
So you're spending $3,600. Now you talk about the Snyder, and I forget the name of the other one, solar something. And they don't have the same capacity to do one phase and triple phase, double phase, stuff like that for your appliances. So for $3,600, it's a better deal than buying um, a Snyder or those other ones because you can get up to 1,400 kilowatts plus power out of them. Okay.
Oh.
So you can chain them, daisy chain them, and you can put
Yeah.
single phase and double phase on them for your 240. So
Oh.
they are a better deal to work with, and you can chain them. And so, depending on whether you get the 24 volt DC or the 48 volt. Now, one thing I'm going to caution people with 48 volt ones, because I know my solar and stuff like that. Okay. The 48 volt ones, when you start getting up that range, that can actually kill you if you touch the wrong things. So 24 volt is a better way to go. Less efficiency. No, I'm serious. I'm not kidding.
Oh, I know.
Well, I dealt with shipboard stuff, was 50, 50 volts. And the cycles were different on that depending. And I also dealt with, aircraft where they generated stuff of aircraft like 3-phase or single phase. And depending on how much voltage you have and current going through it, that can actually be dangerous or easy to work with. So 24 volt is probably DC system is probably the best to work with for solar and whatever for the basic person. Because if you go up to 48 volts, you can be dangerous.
Yeah,
And
I
I've been
think our
shocked.
Midnight Classic is
No,
24 volts. I think
done
that's
with,
what it is.
done with. Midnight Classic is old technology. These
Hey, it
MPP
looks simple
solars
to me.
In
are
a box.
much better. They're much better. And I was working on it until I actually had to deal with a bad water heater, and then I found a bunch of water leaks in this whole place, which I'm selling anyway because I'm getting the hell out of here. And so I'm fixing everything right to sell it because I'm moving to Missouri or Texas. Okay, so
Oh.
yeah, I'm moving. It doesn't matter, but because my parents passed away, and that's the only reason why I was up here in Spokane. You know what I'm saying? They passed within the last 4 months, both of them, of old age. It's old age, it was expected. It was hard on my sisters, but I expected it. But as far as solar system, hydro generator, or turbine, depending on your property, you have to adjust that to that. But these MPP solar all-in-one units are pretty good units. You can get a 24 volt, you can get a 12 volt, or you can get a 48 volt. I think the medium part would be a 24 volt, but the 48 volt would be more advantageous.
Okay.
But most of them spit out 220, so they do step down transformer. Okay. But you can change these 24 volts that put out 120, and they can actually, if you have more than 3, you can do a 3-phase. So you're only spending $1,800 on 3 units that can kick out,
That's not
a
bad.
total of over,
That's pretty good.
10 kilowatts, right?
Mm-hmm.
12 kilowatts. And if you look at the Snyder and the solar or whatever, you know what I'm talking about? The solar, I forget the name of it. It's another unit. Red Poppy Farms. You know Red Poppy Farms? You ever watched the videos?
I
I
don't
don't think so. I don't think I've heard that channel.
Okay, well, they're pretty big, but they put in the other one, the solar whatever. But that one actually has less output per wattage. It's only like 3,200 watts versus like Snyder, you can get 4,000 watts. But if you take these 6 MPP solars and stack them together, you can not only get single phase and the dual output phase of triple phase, for the 240, you can actually get over 14 kilowatts of power out of those things. And you can run them off any battery system. So they're the best thing you can actually do to actually chain it together. And they're pure sine waves, so they are pure power. Now, if you look at a lot of your household stuff that's connected to the grid, you may be using anywhere from 2 to 3 kilowatts per hour all the time, right? Depending on what you're doing. If you're totally electric, you could be using a lot. And like the HVAC units and the heat exchangers and stuff like that, if you look at those, they are using 15 kilowatts per hour. Okay. So you really, when you're using that kind of unit, like a heat pump or something like that, to heat your house with, you're better off heating your house with these oil-filled heaters
Mm-hmm.
because they only take 1,500 watts versus
You mean
1,500 watts.
the little oil filled ones that like you get at big box stores, like
Yeah,
50, $60?
yeah,
Yes.
yeah,
Yeah.
they're they're water filled sometimes too.
Mm-hmm.
And in Georgia, to heat the house, we used the oil-filled heaters instead of the heat pump and
Mm-hmm.
and the heater in the house because our cost was a third of electricity cost.
Mm-hmm. My brother, he was an HVAC, and my nephew, and they put tons and tons of those heat pumps in, and they would always put them in their house too, and I could not stand them. To me, it was just cold, and when I get cold, I get froze to the bone, and it takes me hours to warm up. So I come in my house, and I just have a regular furnace, electric furnace, and I'll crank the heat up and sit right over the vent until I'm roasting inside before I warm up. And I kept telling him, he said, "You need to get a heat pump." And I said, "I do not want a heat pump. Your house is cold to me."
What's a heat pump?
um, it takes correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it takes the humidity out of the air. So it
Oh,
feels colder than it's supposed to be the same temperature, but to me it feels colder even when you're standing above the vent when it's on. It doesn't feel like the hot heat coming from an electric, just a regular furnace. It feels a lot cooler coming out, but your temperature in your house is still warm. But he'd swear by them, and I said no. And I talked to other people, and they said, well, you have two types of people when it comes to heat pumps. They either love them or they hate them. There's not really any in
Well,
between.
the heat pump and the furnace actually takes a lot of electricity, 15
Hmm.
kilowatts per hour to run.
Hmm.
So if you're in the middle of winter, you're going to
Hmm.
spend a lot of money on electricity. And the heat pump does do the job, but if it doesn't do the job where it starts to heat up or cool the house, then you have to have an actual furnace behind that actually kicks in.
Hmm.
That my situation is that one, but these little, uh, well, I guess I could just show you. I mean, it's right there, right? These little oil fill here
Yeah.
keep the rooms heated, and these
Hmm.
only use anywhere from 600 to 1,500 watts, but an hour. But the problem is that they also don't stay on all the time unless they need to run continuously. So you may be running a 1,500 watt heater, and you can set them for different temperatures, but they only, in the end, if you average it out, cost you half that.
Hmm.
And so 1,500 kilowatts versus 1,500 watts for a heater,
Hmm.
and I usually, in Georgia, we used to keep them, when my wife was alive, we used to keep one in each room. And also in the exterior, we kept a, bigger, maybe a couple units and ran them at night to keep the house warm and down in the basement. But we used a lot less electricity. Our electricity bill was a third or half of what we spent to run a heat pump to do the same thing.
Hmm. Well, we actually use those oil heaters a lot, and you put them in a bedroom, and they'll run you out of there. They'll get so hot in there. But we use them out in the building where we take mama goats and let them have babies in the wintertime, and it
Yep.
keeps it nice and warm in there for them. And
Yep.
in the house, though, we got some of those Eden Pure heaters, and we really like those. It really warms the house up pretty good too, and
What's
it
the name
has
of it?
Eden Pure.
Okay, I'm not familiar with that. Can
Yeah,
you actually tell me what it does?
some some of the box stores have knockoff brands of them, but just about everybody that I've talked to that's bought those, their electric bill just runs through the roof with them. But the Eden Pure, it did not raise our electric bill like other heaters would, but it's a forced air, And I think that it's phew, I, um 10 something to run it. I can't remember right now, but they are really good, and you can run them from your generator if your power goes off. It's not too heavy for it or anything, and they do a really good job. But they have a little built-in thermostat on them so that they're not running, constantly. When the temperature gets right, then it shuts itself off, comes back
Well,
on
I
when
do
it
know
needs
that
to.
I do know that I could run a couple of these oil filled heaters off a generator,
Hmm.
but I can also run them off my battery bank until
Hmm.
because I'm not totally off grid, but I am have off grid power and stuff like that in battery banks, and have 3 different solar systems in that junk. But I could run a couple of them during the night if I had to at full
Hmm.
blast and last about 6 to 8 hours.
Well, another thing I like about the Eden Pure heaters is they're cool to touch. So if you have little kids or animals that like to climb and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
um,
They're safe.
yeah, they're safe. They won't burn. They won't burn you or anything. You can touch them. The only part that gets warm is the little um, it's like a little metal grate that goes across the front, but it
Are
has
you
an
talking like
overhang.
something like a Mr. Heater Big Buddy?
No, no, not a big buddy. We have one of those too.
Does it
We've
run
got
off of
backups for backups for
it runs,
backups.
yeah, I have backups too. I have propane and the bottles and the refill kit and the bottles, you know, in there, I mean, I just wonder if it's the propane. I mean, is it electric?
No, it's electric. Yep, it's electric.
Huh.
And they're like $500 or $600 for them, but they really are great. And the
Hmm.
knockoffs that you buy at like the big stores and stuff, they're like
Mm-hmm.
$200 to $300 for them. They're not worth it at all. Um, if you're going to look into one, look into an actual Eden Pure.
Can you do a
Um,
video on that and link a thing for that? I mean,
I
or even
I can.
reach out and
Ours are.
contact them and do, say, I want to do a video on this and sponsor me on this because I think that's
Mhm,
probably a great product then.
mhm. Yeah, I really love them. My mom and dad actually got me started on them because um, they always kept their heat like in their house on like just a step above freezing you to death. And
Yeah,
they,
well, I have to do that in my house because my daughter will kill me if I keep it above 65. And, I'm getting older, so I need a little more heat. But
well, my dad he worked in the butcher area in the cooler for a lot of years, and then he couldn't breathe when he got home, because he
too
was
hot.
used to the cold weather in
Mm-hmm.
there, and so he always slept with the heat turned off actually.
Yeah.
And then during the day they would have it like I think around 67, 68, something or another like that, which to me is freezing me to death. My house stays 72 degrees year round. But
That's pretty warm, by the way. I keep mine about
Yeah,
60.
yeah. Oh, see, I would freeze
ours
at
is at
60.
60.
Oh no, no, I
It's
would freeze to
well,
death.
it says it's at 60, but we have base heaters and it does not feel like 60. It feels more like 50 in here.
Base heaters always feel cold, always.
Oh my gosh, I didn't even know what a base heater was until we lived here, and I asked my husband like, this is gonna keep us warm, right?
You talk
It
about
does.
run your electric bill up.
Sure,
Yeah,
honey.
A base heater
Yeah,
will
yeah,
do
I'm
it.
gonna keep it warm. Yeah, yeah.
yeah. I
You better
mean,
grab on the honey.
Yeah,
it's yeah,
Put your cold feet on but
yeah,
when you're doing that, put your cold feet on too. Just for fun.
yeah,
so
yeah. But they were the ones that got me hooked on them because they used one in their living room, and I just loved it. So years later, then we bought. Well, actually, I think we have two or three Eden Pure heaters around here. Um,
Well,
we
I
don't
think it
usually
would
turn them
make a
on.
great video if you did
Hmm.
a testimonial on it. You might even
Hmm.
get a sponsorship out of it. You never know.
Hmm.
But I
Yeah.
would like to know more about it, and I'm sure you
Hmm.
can't put all the stuff into this, one conversation. Unless we
Right.
want to, I mean, honestly, because we should put it into a video, tell people your testimony, and then go ahead and reach out to the company and say, I want to sponsor this product. Because what do you got to lose, right?
Right.
That's
Yeah,
true.
Nothing.
it really is a great product. Hey, the best life, a wood stove for heat. You don't really need anything else except the wood to go in it.
Which
Yeah, I
is
wish
why
you
they're
could.
leaking.
If I put a wood stove in here, they would charge me 3 times as much for insurance. And I don't plan on hanging on this place much longer. This place is just a temporary, I went and bought it with cash. That's it. Boom, done,
Mhm.
And I don't want to stay much longer. And I want to move south where it's warmer because I'm
I hear
cold.
you. I told my husband, I said, if for some reason I outlive you, I'm going to let you know right now, I'm going back down to the south.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
only
Visit me in
because
Florida, babe. I'll see you later. I mean, come
I'm
on
like,
now. Tell
I'm
me on the
only
phone when you get down here.
I'm only here because I love you. That is it.
I quit loving you this winter. Can't wait when you get down there.
Oh, the best life said prep what?
Oh,
And
for emergency supplies for like when I got snowed in over the last 2 weeks, and I was panicking because I was not prepared. Luckily, we were able to get plowed out so we could get to a store.
mhm.
You know,
So yes,
when my parents were growing up, you didn't get plowed out until 2 or 3 months later in the ranches and the farms they grew up on because they were just out in the middle of nowhere. There was no snow plows out there.
no,
And then
we
they tell people like
these
this that
were
they have food like this on shelves, because this is just some of my stuff, right? You
Mhm.
lived this way because you needed to. You kept
yeah
fuel, food, everything you needed, even parts for stuff that breaks down in the house. You kept it there, and then didn't call them preppers. They just called them people.
They
yep
were just
Now they call them
living. Right.
preppers. Now they call them
uh,
preppers and
Right.
yeah.
homesteaders and stuff like that.
With some kind of
So
Crazy.
stigma added to it because they're called preppers now instead of just living like your great
it's
grandparents or
just being
grandparents did.
prepared. You're
Right.
just being prepared.
Mhm.
When you live in when I was living in Florida, I didn't know what that meant until I got up here. And and luckily our neighbor had a snowplow that hooks to their side by side. So he did the first initial just so we could get out, and then the guy that my father-in-law is renting the second cabin to, the company he works for, he he um, he has to have a snowplow to clear land. They build sheds and homes and stuff like that, and so um, he had called. He obviously he knew we were snowed in because he was snowed in, and
You know
so
what? I think you need another blanket. You look like you're shivering. I don't mean to be mean, but hey, you know, um,
but yeah, so he was able to bring the
somewhere to
work
go.
truck. He was able to bring the work truck and get the rest of the stuff out so we could actually get in and out on a daily basis. But yeah, I mean, I have not seen a snowfall like that since I was in high school. That was over 30 years ago. And when you're a teenager, you don't pay attention to that stuff because you know your parents worried about it. By the time
Well,
you were,
there was
it
a
was all
big
done for you.
snowstorm in Chicago years ago. There was a big snowstorm in Denver. I remember we were on vacation and I looked it up and it was June 5th, 1976, because I was in another chat. And that was when the Teton Dam broke over there in Rexburg, Idaho. And I saw the whole town just get wiped out by a whole wave of water
Oh
back then. And
wow!
I was 12 years old.
Mhm.
Yeah, it
The
happens. Anyway, I
best
just
life
thought
is
I'd mention
born
the.
raised in Colorado. Snowden is normal to me. Yes. You learn how to keep stuff ahead so that you don't have to
Yes.
worry about it when
Yep,
something happens.
it is.
Yeah.
It is. You prepare for 2 or 3 months to being snowed in or any catastrophe, and
Right.
you have spare parts for your house and everything else. When people were
Mhm.
running around looking for toilet paper, Elvis right here was looking for snacks in the store, and I got cut blocked by this little 5'2" blonde from the
We were
back of the
buying
leg.
potato
She almost took
chips.
me out. Yeah,
Yeah, we were buying potato chips. We weren't worried about the toilet paper.
yeah, because I normally keep about 200 rolls of toilet paper around the house anyway, and paper towels and stuff like that. But I'm not a prepper. I'm just, I just live
You're
old school, prepared. Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
it was just crazy, and then she looked at me and she goes, "Oh, I'm so sorry to hit you." And her eyes were beady and they were bouncing off like that, and they were sweaty and stuff like that. And I was like, "Oh my God, these people are just crazed." They're not prepared for nothing. It just blew me away how unprepared a lot of people are about, getting ready for things in this life, and if you have a crisis, well, crap, all the supermarkets in the store burned down. Well, guess a good thing I have food in my indoor greenhouse to eat, and I can go dig the potatoes out of the ground that I still have, and there's some carrots over there and natural roots over that set up, and 3 succession plantings. I can eat those.
Yeah.
That's the way it is, and if worst comes to worst, supper number 1, which is chicken, is first. And it's going to be it's going to be the jerk, because the jerk is the worst one. I'll talk to y'all later. I just wanted to put in my 2 cents about this, but space heaters are actually nice to have because they use a lot less electricity and save you a lot of money if you're going to run off of those type of items.
Oh yeah. There's a lot of good money saving tips and different ways of doing things. Unfortunately, most of us have been programmed though to just buy, spend, and pay all these different companies for stuff that a lot of times we can just do ourselves and save a whole lot of money from. And sometimes it just takes us taking the time to go look for the different options and come across
Well, I'll tell
a
you
better
what.
way of doing things.
I wish I would have got into GameStop like 2 days before I was looking at it, because I was totally doing something else, and I didn't look at the Discord for the investment group that I actually work in, and not working, but actually involved in, because we were all independent investors. And if I had just jumped in 2 days before that, I could have sold that stuff for 2,000 shares. I could have sold 2,000 shares and made a profit of almost $500,000. And I was like, oh my God, I just missed out. So
Well,
that
that's
opportunity
the way
may
it
not come
is.
again.
That's the way it is with stuff like that, though. You're either in the right place at the right time, or you just missed it.
Yeah, I just missed
Too
it
early,
because I
or
wasn't paying
just missed
attention.
it.
I was too busy chasing water leaks and putting a new water heater in. And, I guess, but whatever. I mean, but those opportunities come around. But I just want to say that people need to be more, aware of not only being asset rich, but also not cash poor. I
Right.
think people need to look more into that too, as far as their prepping stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You need to look in your finances for your prepping stuff too, instead of just looking at like, well, I want to owe this much money per month. For me, it's not really a big deal. You know why? Because I'm debt free. I own this place, bought it with cash. Got 4 cars. I need to get rid of 3 of them because I'm going to move. I need to get rid of them. Everything I have is debt free. The only thing I pay for is like electricity, some water, and insurance cost and food. That's it.
And internet.
That's it. Oh,
Internet.
I can get it for free if I really wanted to, but nah, old hacker like me, but whatever.
Most held it too long and lost anyways. Yes, that's so true.
Yeah.
Best life. I'm a single guy. A 12-pack of toilet paper lasts a year. Yeah.
Oh, well, what the hell are you eating then?
Yeah.
Because I don't know about y'all, but I'll tell you what. If that lasts you a year, you might want to go check yourself out because you might have some problems down there in the pipe. Because I mean, no, seriously, because it's healthy to take. Honestly, the health parts of it. And I'm going to talk about health now because I do talk about health. But if you ain't taking a dump like 2 or 3 times a day, you're in trouble. You really are. You're looking for cancer. I'm serious. That's the truth.
Yeah, it really is. I started to say, "Oh, he's going to go Oprah on us." The episode with Dr. Oz and uh, your bowel movements.
I can't do that funny guy from Texas. I mean, it's just, I really don't have the nose for it, and I'm not bald. I just can't do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I want to talk
Well,
to y'all
you
later.
all,
Have a
it
good night.
is
Good
3
night.
in the morning, and
Love you both.
okay, just a
Love
minute,
y'all.
hon. Uh, it is 3 in the morning, and hubby will be getting up any minute now to uh, start leaving for work. So I need to throw him some breakfast on because I did not do so all
Yeah, I
night
need to
long.
get to bed.
I was busy watching everybody's lives.
Ooh,
So I didn't get anything else done. Hi, Land Cloud Adventures.
well,
Grab
this
them
was
puppies some
fun,
treats for us.
and I'm glad that StreamYard worked well.
Oh,
And
yes, me too.
it was fun getting to know you and
Yeah,
hanging
oh,
out.
yes. Yeah,
So
I've had a good time. I enjoyed
it was
all of you
fun.
here and commenting and all the good conversations. And come back and we'll chat all night again another night.
All righty. Have a
All
good
right.
night,
Good
guys.
night, everyone.
Everyone stay safe
Bye.
and warm. Bye.
Oh yeah.
Mom, that 4 does